Excellent. Well, hey, first and foremost, Happy New Year, Happy 2022. I can't believe that it's already 2022. Honestly, I can't. When I was looking at my goals sheet over the holiday time period, and I have it going back for years, especially when you see the 1 to 3 year goals and 3 to 5, and then your long-term goals, and I'm thinking, wow, I can't believe it's 2022. But anyways, here we are. Super pumped about 2022, and what I'm going to share with you is how to position yourself and your leads by having a greater understanding of the value of leads and client acquisition cost, ROI, all of that, along with a couple other little tips that I'm going to share with you so that you can make 2022 just honestly a kick-ass year. That's what's going through my mind, just making it a kick-ass year, right? And I want that for all of you, and you can make it, happen, as well. It can certainly, happen for you. But you have to come out of the gate strong at the beginning of the year. And that's what I've positioned for. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm teaching, coaching, all that stuff, which is why I'm going to share it with you. Okay? So I'm going to jump right into this here. And if you have questions along the way, feel free to use the chat box there, and then we'll open it up for some questions afterwards. But I want to make sure I get through all of this. And again, any questions that you have, feel free to ask along the way, because it's important that you understand this. So let's talk about lead nurturing, and let's talk about leads, why leads are important, why follow-up is important, and all that good stuff. But before I jump into that, one other note here. If you do not have, I'm going to pull mine up here. If you do not have the success dashboard, okay, that I talked about the past couple calls during the holidays that will allow you to get your goals and your activities organized so you can be super duper focused, make sure that send me an email. All right, send me an email and let me know so that I can get that to you, because you definitely want to be organized, you want to be focused, you want to be efficient. It makes a difference. You don't want to come out of the gate here in the beginning of the year. You don't want to be a floundering agent, right? You don't want to be kind of floundering around trying to figure out what you're going to do. You just want to do it. You want to execute. And you need to get into a rhythm. We'll probably talk about that on a future call, talking about just the rhythm, getting into that. But for now, I really want to talk about leads, because this is going to position you getting everything set up correctly so you have good lead flow coming in from various lead sources. Now, we have leads available. We do custom campaigns on Lead Squeezers. But with that being said, I'm also an agent. You need to have 3 to 5, that's right, 3 to 5 lead sources that are your go-to lead sources so you can maintain good, consistent lead flow coming in. What will happen? It's happened to me several times in the past. You're trucking along with your favorite lead source, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, they dry up. It happens. Things change. I don't care if it's a direct mail lead, a telemarketing lead, a Facebook lead, an internet lead. I don't care. I've experienced all of them and trucking right along, and then all of a sudden, dried up. What happens when they dry up? Well, you're not right in business. So you need to have 3 to 5 where you have consistent lead flow coming in. And not only that, it provides a good variety, a good mix for you. Okay, so let's take a look here. And as you're looking at my slide here, let me pull it up so I can see the slide as well. There we go. And as you're looking at the slide here, lead nurturing, and you look at leads and why sales process and automated follow-up is so important. Here's why it's important, all right? One, these people don't know you. When you buy a lead, you get a lead, whatever, however you get it, they don't know who you are. They don't know you. They don't like you. They don't trust you. You're just a name and a number, and they're a little skeptical, right? As far as they're concerned, you're a robo-dialer, you're a telemarketer, you're trying to sell them something that they don't want, they don't need, all right? So you need to understand the mindset of a prospect. All right. Now, along the way, you are going to get those people that are ready to go. They know what they want. They've done the research. They've heard it, or maybe they had some kind of a life event, whatever it may happen, that has elevated their interest in what you're offering. But for the most part, they don't know you. Okay? So, what most agents do, life agents, financial advisors, real estate, when they get a lead, most of them look at it as a transactional business, and they look at a lead as a guaranteed sale. It is not, okay? Leads have to be nurtured, and the way I look at it, a lead is a seed to building a business, to building an opportunity, to building business, right? To make a commission, all that good stuff. Which is why I chose this image here. You need to look at leads as, when you get a lead, you've got a seed. Now it's your job as the salesperson to nurture that lead. And along the way, you're going to build credibility. You're going to build trust. You want people to like you because people like to do business with people they know, like, and trust. Okay? That's a fact. Big fact. It also reinforces along the way as you're nurturing them with follow-up email, text, direct mail, whatever it may be, the phone calls, your voicemails, your ringless voicemails, your your video emails, all those things that our CRM system allows you to send out. You're educating your prospect on the value of what you have to offer. Why do they need life insurance? Well, the best way to educate them is not just on product knowledge, but through stories, right? And so a lot of our email campaigns, we have stories, using real life examples. But it reinforces the importance of life insurance or whatever business you're in. If you're a financial advisor in retirement protection, same type of thing, educate. It separates you, when you have a follow-up process, it separates you from other agents. Most agents aren't going to do this. It takes work. It's an extra step. It's a couple extra steps, actually, right? It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes consistency, which is why most people aren't going to do it, all right? Through this process, as you're building your business and you're nurturing your seeds, what's going to happen is you're going to get more referral business and repeat business. See, most agents look at a client as transactional. It's a one and done, turn and burn. I collected my commission. I'm out the door. I'm not going to leave a business card because God forbid I want them to call me because I'm so afraid they're going to cancel the business. That is actually taught, and I can't believe it. Leave a card, leave a positive image so you can get more business. It's a mindset thing, right? But yet so many people in the final expense are so afraid that if they leave a business card, that person is going to call you to cancel the business. Well, guess what? If they want to cancel, they're not going to call you. They're just going to, guess what, drain their bank account or change it, and they're not going to have any money in there, and the policy's going to lapse, and you're going to get a big fat charge back, right? But anyways, through this process, it's also, as you can see here, it's about keeping more business on the books. But ultimately, it's increasing your profit and your ROI, your return on investment in leads, okay? That's what it's about. That's why lead nurturing, that's why a follow-up is so, so important, all right? So let's move on to the next slide here. I look at it, and when I talk about mindset, you need to have the mindset that what you are doing, your sales process, whatever business you're in, you are building a book of business. You're going to take that seed and you're going to basically build a field of business. That's your field of dreams, right? You're going to build a field of business. But you have to change your mindset, because if your mindset is that you buy a lead and you're not able to get a hold of that person right away, or they say no, or you sell, just a small little final expense and you don't nurture that. See, if you look at it that way, you're not going to spend the quality time nurturing that relationship, and it's not going to grow. Just like if you came back here to our seeds, if you planted the seed, you bought the seeds, you planted them, and if you didn't water them, if you didn't give them sunshine, if you didn't care for them, they're not shit that's going to happen, right? It's not going to happen. So you need to look at it as your leads are seeds, and you need to nurture it. You need to water it, provide it sunshine, nurture it, you know. But when you do that, again, I'm going to emphasize this like I did on the previous slide. It's going to increase your profit and ROI. You're going to get more referrals. But here's the other thing. Getting business becomes easier. And this is what will allow you to achieve higher sales production. Many agents, they will buy leads, transactional, one and done, turn and burn, in and out, business falling off the books. I'm struggling to keep it on. I'm getting chargebacks. And they live in this just, what I call the vortex, really. That's no fun. You get burnt out. And it's just simply not fun. But they have a dream of reaching these higher levels of production. And oftentimes what they'll do is they'll spend a fortune on leads and more leads and doing the same thing without nurturing what they've already done. And stuff, as fast as they're writing it, the stuff is falling off the books. And they're like, challenge, how do I reach those, higher production goals? And it just becomes, a mouse wheel, right? And it's not fun. So I know I'm overemphasizing this, but it's so important. Nurture, nurture, nurture. You're building a book of business, okay? So let's move on to the next one. So you have to understand here, and if you've been on my calls, I've shared this 1,000,003 times, and that is the consumer buying behavior statistics. So important. 25% of your sales leads are ready to buy when they inquire. Now, I didn't create this. This is all over the internet. This is done from various marketing studies, Direct Marketing Association, all those organizations out there that have done many consumer surveys. That's where this data comes from. It is not specific to life insurance. It is just general across the board. You are also a consumer, so think about your own buying behaviors. Do you buy every time you inquire? You do not, I promise you. If you do, then guess what? We need to talk because I'm going to sell you all kinds of stuff that I can make money. But you don't, all right? So what this says is 25% of your sales leads are ready to buy when they inquire, which means 75% are not ready. How do we nurture those 75%? And how do we stay in front of them with our message, our education, our photo, our contact info, so that when they are ready to buy, who are they going to call, right? Ghostbusters. So 20% of sales are made on first contact. 50% of people who request info won't make a buying decision for 3 to 4 months. And 20 to 35% of sales are made between the second and fourth contact. And 50 to 70% are made the 5th to 10th contact. Okay? So very interesting. When you understand this, then it makes lead nurturing follow-up so much more important because this is fact. All right? Now, the problem is, also, I want to share this with you, consumer satisfaction behavior, since I shared that with you, and then I'm going to share some challenges that agents have. The probability, look at this, the probability of selling to an existing customer is 60 to 70%. So, if you don't build a book of business, you're just looking at transactional, you never follow up with an email, a phone call, an annual policy review, you never send a birthday email, you never send a birthday card. I mean, basically, you're just looking at it like 95% of the agents out there that it's very transactional. You're going to sell something, collect a commission, you're moving on, and you're going to hope and pray that that the policy stays on the books, right? But look at this, 60 to 70%. That's huge. The probability of selling to a new prospect, it's a new lead, is 5 to 20. That's a huge difference. So if you have a routine where you're nurturing these leads and you're following up and you're doing the annual reviews or even checking in with them a few times a year, right? 60 to 70%. Life happens for these people. And if you're on this call, I'm a life agent. Most of you that I can see on the call are life agents. You have access to life insurance, disability, Medicare, healthcare, IULs, annuities, critical care. There's a slew of products and ancillary services that you can sell. People are people. They have life needs and things change. Maybe they want a policy for the grandkids. Maybe they want a policy because something happened in their life and they want to up their policy. Maybe it's retirement protection. Even though it's a final expense client that you have, guess what? They're a senior. What do? What do seniors do? They're either retiring or they're retired, and some of them have money, right? If you're selling annuities and you've been on some previous calls, we are in the largest wealth transfer ever right now, meaning baby boomers have money. That money needs to be protected. That's annuities, right? Check this out. 80% of your future profits, if you do this correctly, will come from just 20% of your existing customers. Now again, this is general across the board, so it's not specific to life business. 78% of happy customers are willing to tell their friends and family. A happy customer on average will tell 9 people about their great experience. An unhappy customer will tell 22 people about their bad experience. 22 people about their bad experience. That's part of the reason I do not like Yelp. If you're an agent, I do not recommend that you get on Yelp. Yelp, in my opinion, is a complete scam. And it's a platform for people to complain. I know it because if I eat at a bad restaurant, I'm the first one there complaining about that restaurant, okay? 65% of a company's business comes from existing customers, and it is 6 to 7 times more expensive to acquire a new customer than to retain an existing one. Now think about that for a moment. 6 to 7 times more expensive by the time you invest in a lead, and your time as well, because your time is worth something, to acquire a new customer than to continue to have a client retention campaign and follow up to keep business on the books. Because if you collect a commission, you're advanced a commission, and that business falls off, you're getting a big fat chargeback, right? You've lost everything from that deal, nothing. And now you've lost that. You put a lot of time and energy into that. You've already spent the money or reinvested it. And so now you have to replace that. And it's 6 to 7 times more expensive. That's why follow-up is so important. So important. All right, let's move on to the next slide. So what do agents do? Here's agent behavior. And, don't take this on the wrong way if you're a call, if you're a life agent. Hey, I see this over and over and over. The fact that you're on this call means that you're doing something different and you're not the mindset of the 97% of the people out there, or 93%. So most agents will call a lead a few times and they'll just simply give up. I couldn't get a hold of them. These leads suck. Couldn't get a hold of them. I tried. I'm going to move on to the next. I'm going to buy more. They get sucked into this hype and vortex. It's a vortex just full of hype, right? And then most agents, if they don't sell in the first appointment, they never follow up. Occasionally you'll have an agent that make a half-ass attempt, but most of them just never follow up. And then many agents write a policy and never follow up, wonder why they don't get referrals or the business falls off the books, right? So if you don't get referrals and the business is falling off the books, there's a good reason for it. That things are happening here, are things that you're not doing, right? So what else do we have here? Some agents never want to follow up for fear the client may cancel the policy. Man, if you wrote a policy and if you were that fearful that they're going to cancel, maybe you shouldn't have written that person a policy to begin with. Just so you can impress the IMO that you're with, that you're writing a boatload of business, right? or just saying, hey, I'm just going to throw it at the wall and see what sticks. If you have that mentality, you're not really a professional, in my opinion. When I look at sales and I look at what we do, it is so powerful. We are very fortunate, honestly, if you're a life agent, because you're the one person that is in front of that person that can be honest and truthful with them, that can protect them from financial hardship when life happens. And life does happen, right? And I look at it that way. And I want to nurture that business. I want to grow. I want to get more referral business. But unfortunately, there's a lot of teaching out there that this is a turn and burn, one and done, just throw agents in it. Let's just crank sales, 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 sales. And it kind of gives the rest of the industry and agents, a bad name. All right. But this is a very professional, very legit, very solid business and very lucrative, right? But you have to do it correctly. You have to do it correctly. 27% of sales leads are never followed up on. 25% of sales agents stop after the second attempt. 12% of agents stop after the third attempt. And statistically, it requires 7 to 12 attempts to reach a lead. Statistically. But people don't do that, right? And part of it comes, there's a mindset that when you get a lead, that it's going to be a sale. You hope that it's going to be a sale, but it's your job to nurture that lead to turn it into a sell. A lead is a lead. It's not a sell. If you want a sell like a final expense, some of those are out there. Those are $250 pretty much for an application. They're going to give you almost a completed application at about $250. I've seen that out there. I know a couple people using it, but that's almost a guaranteed sell. And even that's not 100%. It's about 80%. But leads, you've got to nurture it. It's your job to nurture it. So this is the agent behavior. The fact that you guys are on the call, you're changing all that, right? And you're going to have a kick-ass 2022 because you're going to follow this. But look at this. So what are leads? And I've already mentioned this a little. They're an opportunity to get in front of people, and they are not a guaranteed sell, to grow any business. So let's take a step back. You're not a life insurance agent. You're a business owner. Because first and foremost, if you're independent, you're also a business owner. And let's just use an analogy that, let's say you just dropped $500,000 on a franchise business. All right. What would you do? You invested $500,000 into a franchise business. You are not just going to sit on the sidelines and hope and pray that people are going to come in. You're going to continue to invest money into advertising, into marketing, into leads, whatever it may be, because you invested $500,000. You want to get a return on that investment, right? You want to make it work for you. That may be your life savings that you've invested in that franchise. So you're going to treat it differently. The problem with life insurance agents, real estate agents, and financial advisors, it's a very lucrative business, all three of those. But you can get in low cost. You don't have to invest $500,000 into a franchise. You can get in. And what happens, because people can get in at a very low financial entry point, they don't treat it as they should. They don't treat it like a $500,000 business. I mean, you can get into this business and literally make $250,000, $500,000 your first year. That's difficult to do with a franchise. I've coached many franchise owners, in the past that have invested, thousands of dollars. I'll never forget one guy that I coached, and it was too late. He called me way too late. He was calling me when he was about ready to close his doors. And hey, I'm great, but I'm not a miracle worker, okay? And he had invested $500,000 into a franchise that was refilling ink cartridges. So the ink cartridges from your printer, and this is before Costco had just started getting into this business. He invested his life savings into 3, and he came out of corporate America, into 3 locations. And he was running one location, his wife was running another location, and they hired somebody to run the 3rd location, and they weren't making any money. because, Costco and some of these other services, and it just wasn't a great model, So anyways, but he did everything he could, and this is the point. He did everything he could to try and make it work. Unfortunately, it's just a bad model, and that business and franchise is completely out of business. You look at life insurance, you look at financial advisors, you look at real estate. It's been around forever and a day, and it's going to continue to be around, right? So anyways, so the point is you're going to invest time and money into that, right? And your leads are marketing dollars, basically. It's an opportunity to quickly get in front of someone. But let's take a look at this. And this is what I want to get into is the ROI, the customer acquisition cost, and calculating your time as well. So what is your time worth? So do me a favor here, and just in the chat box, I'm just curious to what you guys are thinking. Just drop a number in the chat box of what you think your time is, or what your time is worth to you. I'm curious what you guys are thinking. Just drop in the chat box there what your time is worth per hour. Let's say per hour. What do you give it? Do you have a dollar figure? $500 per hour. John, I love it. Okay. Love it. Okay. Excellent. All right. So John's time's worth $500 an hour. The rest of you, I think, are on minimum wage because you didn't state. So I'm only going to assume that you're. All right, Burner. Okay, excellent. Thanks, Burner. So, anyways, you have to take this into mind, and the reason this is important is I will see people spending a lot of time, literally spinning their wheels because they think their time is not worth anything or not worth much. They will spend time, and when you're spending time trying to market, spend time networking, for example, because you don't have to buy a lead, so you'll go spend your time networking in networking events, which I'm a fan of, but it should supplement. It shouldn't be the only. And what happens, I see, is a lot of people just spinning their wheels doing that, okay? Which is why I ask you what your time is worth, because you have to take that into consideration. To grow your business, you have to have a scalable model, meaning you have to have metrics, which is why I'm excited to share this with you. When you understand the metrics, when you understand cost, investment, then you can scale it. Just like if you're driving a car and you want to go faster, you put on the gas pedal a little more pressure on the gas pedal, right? You go a little faster. If you understand the numbers here, you can do the same with your business. But if you're just out there, coasting, and you don't put a number on your time, you're going to find yourself busier than ever, but you're not getting any results. And then you're going to get burnout, and then you're going to pick up a copy of my WTF book, because that's what you're thinking, right? You're trying to figure out how to get out of the vortex. So when we look at this, and you know what your time is worth, now you can figure out how to calculate the client acquisition cost. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. You want a client that's going to pay you a commission, or that you can earn money off of. What does it cost to actually get that client? Now, the reason client acquisition cost is so important, many agents will focus on lead cost. They'll think, I want those $3 leads. Well, how many $3 leads does it take you, right? And what is your total investment in those $3 leads to get to one client? And does that make sense? Because a $3 lead is not a guaranteed sell. A $50 lead is not a guaranteed sell, right? And your time that you spend networking out there is not a guaranteed sell. But we somehow have to be able to calculate our client acquisition cost if we're going to scale our business. So, if you look at networking here, and if you didn't invest in leads and you said, hey, I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to spend time cold calling, through LinkedIn, like, some big financial agencies out there teach. It's like Project 200 or Project 400 list. Or if you go out networking 40 hours a week, and let's just say at $25 an hour, that's $1,000. And let's say you were able to, from your efforts out of that 40 hours a week, get 3 customers, right? Your client acquisition cost would be $333 based on your time at $25 an hour. Now, my time is worth more. Mike Berner and John Mischler, their time is worth more. So that is going to be much higher. But you need to understand that number. And the reason that's important, and I've got an automatic calculator that I'm going to share with you. So that's on networking. Now, if you were to buy leads, okay, let's say 20 leads, let's say they're a mortgage protection, and you're spending $55, you're going to invest $1,100 into those leads, and let's say it netted you 3 customers, that would be $366 as your customer acquisition cost, okay? So basically, to calculate your acquisition cost, you don't need to write this formula down because I have a calculator that I created that I'm going to share with you that will calculate everything, but I want you to understand this. The investment in marketing plus time plus sales and leads or whatever sales expense you have divided by the number of customers. That's how you calculate client acquisition cost, okay? Now, how to calculate your ROI on leads. This is your return on investment, which is your commission. Your investment, which is the leads and if you use an appointment setter, divided by your investment times 100. So it looks like this. If you have 20 leads at $25 each, right? That's 500. Is my math correct? That doesn't look correct. Exactly. Yeah. And then your commission at $2,000. So out of these leads that you invested in, all right, that's your 500 investment. And let's say you made a $2,000 commission off of that, 400% return on investment. Okay, that's for, let's say, internet leads out there. If you're looking at direct mail leads, let's say you bought 10 at $55 to $85 each, so your investment is $550 to $850 in there. And let's say you made $3,000, your return is 445%. Now, the reason I'm sharing with you this ROI is I want you to be thinking about what lead sources, because you want to have multiple, and from your time, how can I get the highest ROI, right? The highest ROI on my leads. That's what it's about. And in order to calculate that, you also need to calculate your customer acquisition cost. So, I'm going to pull up my calculator, but you can do it on your end as well. You can go to this website here, or if you have your smartphone, just scan that code. It should take you to the Lead Squeezers production profit calculator, and I'm going to pull it up on my end, so I'm actually going to share it with you here. Let me pull that up. If I can go to the website here. Minute. Lead Squeezers. Thought I had it queued up. Okay, so you should be able to see the website, right? The Lead Squeezers website. If you can't, let me know. Let's see. Okay, so when you go to the Lead Squeezers website, where you'll find this is under Leads, Production Profit Calculator. And this will calculate it, and you can have it emailed to you. All right, so this is really quick. Just plug in a date so you know. That way, if you're running multiple scenarios, you can type in your production goal if you want. This is more just to, as you run your report to see if you're hitting your production goal. Let's put in $25,000 for the month. How many leads do you invest in, or how much? What's your lead investment for the week? Now, if you're using an appointment setter, you will want to take into consideration your how much money you're spending with your appointment setter. So take your lead investment, your appointment setter, take all that in that you're investing in your leads per week. All right. So I'm just going to say 500 for the week. How many leads are you getting with that? We'll just call it 25, for example. And I'm just going through some quick numbers. And if you guys can do it on your end, how many appointments are you getting out of the 25? Let's just say, 7 appointments. Let's be really conservative. 7 appointments. What is the average monthly premium for policies that you are writing? I'm going to call it $75. All right. We'll be conservative there. And, we'll say it's final expense. What is your average comp? Well, you know what? Let's start with 80%, see how that does. I think most of you are probably that or higher. And then what is your close ratio? Let's use a 30%. All right. And these are just assumptions. So you get to play with the assumptions. This is not based on any one lead source. This is based on your leads that you are getting. Okay. And from the multiple sources. So if you're using multiple sources, you can take the average investment per week, the average number of leads. And if you don't know some of these numbers, speak with somebody at your organization that is buying leads consistently, having success, and try and get some of these numbers to use for the assumptions. But this will allow you to play with it. Then hit next. When you go to next, it's automatically going to calculate. Let me get rid of that so we can see it here. So here's what you can see. The production performance results, okay? Applications submitted, 2.10. All right, for the week. For the month, you submitted 8.4. Now, a big part of this is consistency. Remember early on I talked about getting into a rhythm, right? We'll talk more about that in future calls, but really important. If you just do this one time, none of these numbers are going to work out. Consistency is big. Your total annual premium that you submitted each week, just based on these numbers, is $1,900. Not super impressive, but hey, it's something. It's a start. But look at what you submitted for the month: $7,500. Your lead investment for the week was $500. Your total investment for the month was $2,000. Look here, number of leads you took, 25. Look what you took for the month. You took 100 leads. Those are seeds to building a book of business. Not all of them are going to pop the first week. Some of them may pop in a couple of weeks. Some of them it may take, as you're nurturing them, 60 to 90 days. Remember, if we go back to consumer buying behavior statistics, most people aren't going to make a buying decision for 3 to 4 months. Okay. Now, some of you might have a higher close ratio. Some of the leads that you have, maybe they've already been nurtured a little bit and they're prepped and they're ready to go. There's a big difference there. Let's scroll down to your actual commissions. All right, so your gross commissions, this is based on 80%, right? So even though the submitted production was almost $1,900, because you're an 80%, and I'm trying to be conservative here, your gross commission is $1,500. You're getting 75% advance commission for the week, $1,100. Your trailing commission, $378. So you would net after lead expense $634 for the week. All right. So for the month, you're at $2,500. Now I know you guys don't want to be there. You want to be higher. But look here. This is the point I want to get down to. Look at this: lead ROI and client acquisition cost. Your average cost per lead was $20. Your average cost per appointment was $71. Your client acquisition cost was $238 based on the assumptions that you plugged in there. And your return is 300%. A 300% return in anything is pretty damn good, right? So now how can we increase that return on investment and increase our sales? And this is really the beauty behind playing with this production calculator. So now what you can do is you can say, you know what? What if I spent a few more hours on webinars, which don't cost you a thing, right? All these carriers, there's all kinds of training out there. And I learned how to improve my sales. I learned a little more product knowledge. Or maybe I learned a little more on additional ancillary products that I could sell more, all right, and increase my close ratio. So I'm going to come back here using our same scenario. I'm going to come back and click page 1 assumptions. It takes me back, doesn't start you over. And what if by doing that I could increase my close ratio to 50% because I'm not just selling life, I'm selling some of these ancillary products as well. So per customer, I'm closing more deals. Everything else remains the same. I'm just doing my close ratio, increasing that. Hit next. Let's see what that does. Look what it did. It took our lead ROI, client acquisition costs, came down, right, to 142. Our return on investment, 504%. Just from improving your sales and selling more products or services to your existing clients or prospects. Expanding, right? Just from that. What did it do to our commissions? All right, it pretty much doubled. Came from $634 to $1,400, more than doubled. Look at that, more than doubled it for the month. You didn't invest more money. See, and I hope you guys are really getting this, because what is taught at most of these IMOs, buy more leads, buy more leads, buy more leads. And they offer a lot of training, but sometimes the training doesn't go deep enough to the why of why it's important that people learn more products and services, learn better sales skills, but also learn how to follow up better. Have a CRM system. Now we have Lead Squeezers, but you know what? If you don't like Lead Squeezers, that's fine. Use some type of CRM system that's going to help you be more efficient as a salesperson and to manage your book of business. Because when you do this, you've got a lot of moving pieces. How are you going to manage it, right? So look at that. Now, as your sales increases, I'm going to come back here to our assumptions. We're not going to play with the lead investment. I'm going to come back to our assumptions, page 1 again. And your sales commissions for most organizations, depending on where you're at right now, as you start writing more business, your compensation is going to go up. So let's fast forward. You're doing this, you're consistent, your compensation goes up to 90%. And again, it depends on the products or service. Final expense, you're going to be higher if you're doing IULs, annuities, or IULs, commissions a little lower. But we're just going to play with the comp rate. Let's say your comp goes up just 10%. Nothing else has changed. Now take a look at that. What does that do to our commissions? Okay, our return on investment has gone up 567%. Acquisition cost is going to remain the same, but your return is going to be a little higher. But look at this here. Your commissions, have gone up as well, which is pretty cool. But here's what I want to do. Let's fast forward. I'm going to scroll up here to the production performance results. What I want you to do is fast forward for the year. All right, into the year. Apps submitted 168. And I promise you, after submitting 168 apps, you're going to be a little more knowledgeable, a little more polished. Total annual premium submitted 151,000. Lead investment was 24,000. Now, if you are a restaurant, a retail, I don't care, any kind of business, you name it out there, you're going to have to spend thousands of dollars on marketing, advertising. So for a life agent to have this and to basically what you're going to net, these numbers are very well. And all of you on the call that are in insurance, these are pretty conservative numbers that I'm showing here. All right, but look at this. Leads that you have for the year, 1,200. Now imagine if you have 1,200 people throughout the course of the year that you've been nurturing, right? They're a seed, not just a lead. And this is a seed to a book of business. Now you have 1,200 people that are part of your book of business. Some of them are customers. Some of them are still prospects that you're cultivating and nurturing. But it certainly works. But look at this under commissions here. If you can see my screen right there. See the advanced commissions? Now this net, look at this, $78,000 net advanced commissions minus the lead investment for the year. So that's what you would net for the year. But year 2, 34,000 in trailing commissions. Your lead investment for the first year was 24,000. This year 2, if you look at your trailing commissions, that is your lead investment for year 2. That is chargebacks, because you're going to get some, okay? You've got the money there. Now to scale your business, if you want to double it, what can you do? Let's leave everything the same, and I'm going to change one thing in our assumptions. Let's go back to page 1. And yes, Rick, this is recorded. Yep, it is absolutely recorded. So let's come back here to page 1, the assumptions. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to double it. Remember, your trailing commissions are now paying for your leads and some and going towards some chargebacks, right? Let's keep the same level of investment that you made the first year going. So I'm going to double this to $1,000. All right, and then we're going to say 50 leads per week, and we're going to double this 14. And I'm going to leave the monthly average premium the same. Comps I'm going to leave the same. All that I'm going to leave the same. Let's go to next. This is still going to be the same, right? Because we just doubled our production, but not our expenses or anything. So it all works out the same. Or doubled our expenses. So here we go. So now look at what you're doing. 7 apps a week. All right. Look at the premium that you're submitting per week, $6,300. For the month, $25,000, and this is gross. Okay, that's the AP, annual premium. Let's scroll down to the commissions. Look at the, well, first of all, look at the number of leads you took for the month. These are 200 fresh. On top of the 1,200 you did the first year, another 200 that are going into your contact list, into your CRM system that you're cultivating and building your book of business. All right. Look at gross commissions for the week. This is based off that 90% on the assumption. If your commission's 100, 115 or more, if you're in the final expense of mortgage protection and if you're at that level, plug that in and I'll show you an example of what that does. But look at gross commissions. 5,600 gross commissions for the month. All right. And let's look at net. This is after lead investment. 13,000 for the month. Okay. You can make a living off of 13,000 a month, you know, even in 2022 here. All right. And look at your commission for the year after your lead expense. All right. Look at this, $68,000 in trailing commissions going into year 3. Wow. That is huge. Huge. Absolutely huge. This is your advanced commissions, $200,000, but this net, that's taken out your lead investment of $48,000. Okay, and you submitted $300,000 in annual premium. This is how you scale a business. All right, but unfortunately, if you look at this business as transactional, a one and done, turn and burn, never leaving my business card, and hoping and praying, none of this is going to happen, okay? It's just not going to happen. But this is how you scale a business. It's a 3-year path to really get in a good routine of consistency is the key. Check this out down here. You still have the lead ROI and acquisition cost. Now, let's fast forward. You're producing. You just did your second year, you wrote $300,000. Everybody would be happy with that, right? You'd be happy with that. Let's go back to page 1, and let's say now you got all kinds of promotions. You're still in, let's say, the final expense mortgage protection, because if you're doing IULs and target premium, all that good stuff. By the way, if you're doing IULs, your commissions are a little less than that NLG, F&G, Anico, and all those companies pay, right? They're not paying the 120, 140 on IUL, and you have to take into consideration target premium. So when you plug your numbers in here, use target premium. Like right here, your average monthly, use target premium, okay? Now, Before I change the comp rate, actually, I want to change one other number so you can see the impact. So you've written your first year, what was it, 168 policies your first year. Through that process, the average monthly premium, look at this, okay? The average monthly premium from a sale based on the appointments that you have, all right? What if we're able to increase that because you get better at sales and you're selling more than just final expense or a mortgage protection or just one policy? Maybe there's little add-ons. And what if you're able to just bump this up to, let's just say, on average, $90 a month? What does that do? Okay, let's take a look here. Our return on investment went up to 680. Okay, let's take a look at what it did to our commissions. Look at that. It really increased it here. Look at that. Went from, what was it, 156,000 before. That little $15 brought it up to netting. This is net, right? This is the gross. So look at that. This is your annual premium submitted. So that little $15 on average pretty much netted you about $60,000 additional in top line sales, right? That's huge, just from these little differences. But see, if you don't have a tool like this, it's hard to understand and put all these pieces together, how little adjustments here and there. So if you can improve your close ratio a little bit, if you can get your comp rate increased a little bit, if you can add additional sales onto it, each one, and if you can add $10, $15 on average per sale, look at the difference. This is how you scale a business. This is how you get to the higher production levels. So anyways, before I move on, I want to open it up to any questions. Is this good stuff? Are you guys getting this? Any questions? Feel free to drop it in the chat box. Okay. Crickets, I must have nailed it. Yes, John. Can you imagine adding a writer or two to each policy? There you go. Bingo. Perfect. Yep. Children's policy, accidental death policy, cancer, heart attack, stroke policy. I mean, you name it. A dental policy, long-term care. I mean, disability. The list goes on. And John, you are fortunate because you're with Ben, and Ben, in my opinion, is a master at selling ancillary products. And we've had him on a call. We're going to get him on a call again. But see how these little differences can make a difference. So I share that link with you because this weekend you can spend your time going through this and adjusting the numbers and targeting it in for yourself, right? Or dialing it in for yourself. So you're really clear on how it works, how it works for you, based on the IMO you're with, based on the carriers you have, based on the lead sources that you're getting. There's so many different variables, but this is so powerful. So when you see this, when you go there, type in your first name, your last name, and your email address. What's going to happen? This will get emailed to you. So now you have a printed email that you can print out, you can share with your upline, share with whoever that might be mentoring or coaching you, and to make sure you guys are on the same page and it's realistic for you. Because these assumptions have to be, realistic. But I'll tell you, super powerful. I'm using it for myself as well. And I'll tell you, I've got leads coming out of the year, to be honest with you. But it's an awesome feeling knowing that, and knowing that, and I'm very conservative on my numbers, okay? I like to be conservative. Which is why I wanted to share this with you, so you have a tool that you can use for yourself. Let me go back to my PowerPoint here. I think there's a couple other things that I wanted to share with you. So, and then I'll wrap things up here. How do you squeeze even more? There's two things I want to share with you. How do you squeeze more from your book of business? Oh, first of all, let's do this. Let me come back to that website real quick. Okay, so looking at here, there's something else I wanted to highlight. Look at that, year 2. This is year 2. Look at the number of leads you took, 2,400. The first year you took 1,200. You have 3,600 leads that you're continuing to nurture, right? Because life changes. They're not all going to pop right away. And plus you have your clients. And out of that, how many apps did you submit for the year? 336, which means for the first year, what was that, about 160 something, 168 I think. So you've got, over 500 clients in 2 years. 500 clients that you can get referrals, you can leverage existing business. So keep that in mind. 3,600 contacts, over 500 clients. Let me come back to my PowerPoint now. All right. Hold on. There we go. So looking at this, how do you leverage and get more to increase your ROI and reduce your client acquisition costs? Well, this is where having a sales funnel. And there's many different things that you can do here as you're looking at my screen. Notice I've got the buy leads or invest in leads in the center, right, to fill your funnel to get things going. But this is where we're working. You can see this green one, warm referral market, your strategic referral partners, and I've got videos on that. I've talked about that before. There's targeted events. This could be live events, webinars, online and social media, and then direct mail as well. This is how you fill your funnel with all these different activities, marketing activities, sales activities to fill your funnel. When they come into your funnel, which is your Lead Squeezers CRM system, what are you doing? You're calling. You want to call them. You want to make a connection, but you're also emailing them. You're texting them. You're sending them a ringless voicemail, meaning a message that you have recorded once that is nice and professional, that is relevant for that type of contact, whether it's a final expense, mortgage protection, retirement protection, and a video email, because you're building a book of business. You're building it. These are the things that need to go into your nurturing campaign to really solidify it and to continue to grow it, to water it, to give it sunshine, right? These are the things here. Having this system will help you. This is such a low expense. Lead Squeezers, the CRM and the marketing services that we provide, when you look at it, is a small percentage of investment compared to the leads and time that you're putting into it. Small investment. But many people miss this and they wonder why they don't get more business out of their existing book of business from their clients or from their leads. Okay, so that's one. The next one I'm going to share with you, you guys should be doing. There it is. Come on, there it is. This here I've shared on other calls before. Guaranteed referrals in every home. Guaranteed. All right. This is what I call my required life insurance death benefit notification form. And what it is, it's a form that I created. And if you don't have this, send me an email. I will email it to you so you have it. Okay. But basically, as you're writing a life policy, all right, I make this part of my process so it's very natural. Instead of asking for referrals, and again, you're asking for referrals from someone, if it's a new lead and somebody that you just met, new lead, and you're in the home, they don't know you. People are not really comfortable referring you business if they don't know you. Yeah, they may have just bought something from you, but they don't really know you. All right, so this makes it much smoother, easier, and you're going to get more referrals. And so here's how it works. This form here, required life insurance death benefit notification form. Why do I collect this? Well, I collect this because if you think about why is it that an insurance company does not pay out? Well, if they can't find the beneficiary, they can't locate him. The phone number's bad, the email's bad, the address is bad. Who are they going to pay if they can't locate him? All right? And so I share this with the clients that, hey, we want to make sure that, you just took this policy out. We want to make sure that your beneficiaries get paid. People move around. You're going to have this policy for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years, right? A lot's going to change during that time. We need to make sure that we can get a hold of someone and so that your beneficiaries can get paid. So that's the premise behind it. So I take this form, it's a printed form, give it to the client, and I have them write the name, the relationship, and phone number. That's it. I don't get anything else. Then at the bottom it says, and I have down here because I want permission. They know I'm going to call these people. By signing, it says down here at the bottom, I authorize agents to notify those listed above that I have secured a life insurance policy with the insurance company, and I further acknowledge blah, 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 blah. Basically giving me permission to come. So now I have their permission. So here's what happens. I actually call every one of these people. And I'll say, hey, Mrs. Jones, I just put a policy in with Mrs. Jones, and she listed you as a beneficiary or a contact. I wanted to make sure that you have my contact information. And there I have my CRM system open, and I'm collecting additional information on them. I'm collecting their full name, their full address, wife's name, email address, everything. Date of birth, I'm getting their date of birth. I get everything. I don't even talk to them about sales. I'm not trying to sell them. I'm doing my job to make sure I have their information. While I'm on the phone with them, I said, hey, I'm going to send you my email right now so you have my contact information. Most people have their smartphone or they're in front of their computer, and they'll say, yep, got it. Through this conversation, because I'm being professional and I'm not trying to sell them, guess what happens like 8 out of 10 times? Hey, I've been thinking about getting life insurance. Is that something that you can help me out with? And yeah, we can do that. I'll tell you what. And after I wrap up things, I set an appointment. Do not try and sell them right then and there. Do not. Don't quote them. Don't sell them. That is, you've got to be the busy agent. Your job right there is to collect the information, book an appointment so you can do it correctly, position it correctly. If you try and sell it right then and there and quote it, guess what? You're going to lose the deal. You are coming from a position of weakness, even though you think you might be doing the right thing. It's all about positioning. You want to be in control. So, anyways, this form here is money. There's a Lead Squeezers guy, Ron. He doesn't buy leads. He only networks and is good on referrals. I shared this with him, and he has shared with me in every home. He gets 6 to 8 referrals in every home. This has been a game changer for him. This one piece right here, one piece. So now I share this with you, that book of that clients that you had from investing in leads, the 500, the 168 from year 1, the 336 from year 2, right? Over 500 after 2 years. If you do this along the way, that first year 168, you're going to be able to probably take in the first year easily double that 168 and probably 400 to 500 clients the first year by using this process. It's free. It just takes effort. It's an additional step. That's it. But you know what's kind of sad? I'm going to be honest with you. I've shared this a bazillion and 4 times, and not many people are using it. Why don't they use it? Because it's an extra step, and agents are focused on transactional business. One and done, turn and burn. Use this, and I promise you, you will get more business. And the business you get from this is free leads, basically, and it's going to increase your ROI, and it's going to reduce your client acquisition cost. And you will be more profitable, and you have another tool that will allow you to scale your business. So, with that said, I'm going to leave it at that. If you want this, send me an email, because I've got a couple chats here, but an email, and then I'll just reply with this form and the success dashboard if you want that form as well. But before we wrap up, any other questions that you may have? Is this helpful? Do you like it? Is it valuable? And more importantly, are you going to have a kick-ass year? Because that's what it's about. It's 2022. It's the beginning of the year. We got to make some big things happen, right? And you've got almost 12 months now to do it. We're still in the first week of January. All right. So thank you, Jim. Thank you, John. Excellent, guys. Excellent. Well, this was recorded, so you can share it, with your team. If you want, the video will be available by Monday. We'll have it up on YouTube. I'll send an email out on Monday so you have this. It is great stuff, and I appreciate you guys, being on the call. I just honestly wish that you have a kick-ass 2022. It's kind of my theme for 2022 is kick-ass, because I just feel like things are right, things are ready. We've gone through 2 years of this whole COVID stuff, which I'm absolutely over. I'm so tired of just hearing about it. I want to be back to normal. You guys want to be back to normal. And I just want to move on with life and have fun and not even worry about that crap, right? So this year, kick ass in 2022, make it happen. And yes, Elliot, this is recorded and I'll have it out to you guys on Monday. But with that, you guys have an awesome weekend. All right, take care. See ya.